Yes, it's Alan Thicke calling.
Alan, how are you? It's Tanner. How you doing?
Okay, am I in Saskatoon?
Alan Thicke, you're Robin's dad, right?
I am. Proud of it.
How do you feel when you get that now? Like, and there's some people I know when they actually make that connection. Some people don't know that, and then they find out like Alan Thicke. Really?
Well, I think it's crazy that they don't know it simply because there aren't that many Thicks around, and I don't know. I don't know anybody that I'm not related to.
Now you kind of got your start. You were a writer, and then you did some music writing as well. A couple big TV themes like Different Strokes, and then you got into the acting thing. Now, is this where Robin picked it up from you? Did a musical kind of upbringing for him?
No, I can only take credit for exposing him to a lot of music. His level of artistry skips a generation. Mm-hmm. My main contribution, besides exposing him to the music, was teaching him how to fill out the publisher forms.
Now, looking back, do you remember that moment, that first recording for Robin?
Well, I guess the very first song that he ever recorded was something that we wrote together when he was about 14. Called Living on the Moon, and it was very sweet, and I still have copies of it. It was before his voice changed, so, and since he sings in falsetto, it actually sounds the same.
Well, hey, you got some future blackmail right there waiting to happen, hey?
Oh, it was a pretty good song, and he sang it well. It was, I think anybody who listened to that would say, yeah, I get it. I know where he's going.
Now, there is a connection with Wayne Gretzky and all this. Is it true that Wayne Gretzky, you had asked him to one time babysit Robin?
Well, it wasn't so much babysitting, but he was house sitting, he and Janet, at my house. This was before he lived in L.A., before he was traded from Edmonton, and I was away in Norway with my other son, and so he was left house sitting with Robin for a few days, and that happened to be the exact time that he got the call and got traded and headed off to Edmonton.
He was traded to Edmonton, you said, at that time?
No, I'm sorry, traded from Edmonton
to L.A.
But he was on the plane to Edmonton to go and do the press conference the next morning.
Now, people do know you, of course, because you were one of, they say, the best TV dads, and I'd have to agree with that on Growing Pains. And now I hear that you almost never got the spot. Bruce Willis was kind of looked at for a bit before you stepped into. Is that true?
Well, the truth was that ABC had their eye on 2 or 3 guys that they thought would be good to cast in something, and they weren't sure. And it was a short list, and Bruce and I were on it, and he ended up, of course, doing Moonlighting, and I did Growing Pains, and one might wonder if it could have been the other way around.
Would it have been a music future then for you if the acting thing didn't catch right there?
I don't know what would have happened. I think that we're both pretty lucky that he became an action-adventure hero out of that, and I became America's dad.
So you could have been the guy crawling through the ductwork on Die Hard and wearing the tank top.
Possibly, yeah, that seems like a lot of work.
Now, currently with television, do you think there are any families like that? Are there any good TV dads out there? Do you even watch a lot of TV?
I watch a lot of TV, and I think television now, we see the best and the worst of television. There are just so many networks and so many programs. People who complain that TV has gone downhill, I don't think are watching the right shows. Television is doing some wonderful work, and we've also lowered the bar in some areas, but it's certainly worthwhile and is a viable form of entertainment and is attracting the best practitioners in the business.
You have done so much writing music, books, and all these guest spots. You're like everywhere on TV now.
I do my share of guest appearances. I'm on How I Met Your Mother every year, and I have a Christmas movie on Lifetime called Let It Snow, where I play Candice Bure's father, a coincidence because Candice Bure is, of course, Kirk Cameron's sister in real life. And I had several good years as TV dad to Kirk. So playing the sister's dad was an interesting coincidence.
Now, of course, the big question now, having worked with Kirk Cameron years ago, did you have any idea that Kirk would become the Kirk he is now?
Yeah, he was a huge teen idol, and Tiger Beat and all of that, and his way of dealing with all of that sudden fame and attention was he became very evangelically, fundamentally Christian, born again, and of all the things that he's been criticized for it, as well as applauded for it. But when you think about it, of all the things that can happen to young teen stars, finding God is not the worst. No weapons violations or overdoses there. And God bless him for standing up to his convictions. I always tease him, and we argue about whether or not dinosaurs actually existed, and whether the Earth is round. So we have our evolutionary differences, but I respect his goodness, his charity, and his commitment.
Now back to your real life son, Robin. Now you may have heard there was a certain performance at the MTV Video Music Awards.
I heard, yes. I heard he had a video out this summer.
Yeah, there's something about that video. Yeah, I keep meaning to watch it. I never. Anyway, that led to Halloween costumes. Now, is it weird that maybe you could have run into somebody dressed up as your son on Halloween?
Well, actually, I was out with Robin and on Halloween with his little boy and my other son, Brennan's 5-year-old. And Robin was one of the only people on the street not dressed as Robin.
Really?
Now, there were a lot of Robin Thicke costumes, and coincidentally, the street that we trick-or-treat on every year is the street that my brother Todd lives on. Todd produces America's Funniest Home Videos.
Oh, wow.
And Miley Cyrus lives on that street. We didn't bump into Miley that night, but that would have kind of closed the circuit.
Would it be kind of cool if they dressed up as each other, I think?
Well, I liked that Hugh Hefner dressed up as Robin. I thought that was like the ultimate tribute at a party that I had been invited to and didn't make it to, but that would have been interesting.
Or you would make the best Robin.
Joan Rivers invited me to come on her show on Fashion Police because she was costuming herself as Miley. She wanted me to come out as Robin, but couldn't quite work that schedule out. I thought that it was getting plenty of attention and plenty of conversation. There's not much I could have added to the dialogue at that point.
I think he owes you a lot, though. He definitely got the hairline and the good looks from his dad. And you must be such a proud father. That's incredible to the success he's had. It's amazing.
Well, I am. People ask, as you did earlier, how does it feel? And somebody once asked me, are you jealous of your son's incredible rocket to stardom? And I said, you don't have any kids, do you?
Yeah, because it's got to feel pretty good as a dad.
It's what we live for, it's to see your children happy and healthy and getting paid for things they love to do.
So overall this year, Robin, I guess, has been a pretty good boy. Christmas coming up. Anything on his list? Anything he's asking for this year?
It's so hopeless to try to find anything for he and Paula, or even young Julian for that matter, that although at least the 3-year-old's easier, but the things that they have and that they can buy and that get given to them are obscene. And so there's not too much. I try to come up with sentimental things like photographs or little videos that I make from the old days and concentrate on the kid.
All right, and the final biggest question, we've talked about everything you've done, being a TV dad, the writing, the books, everything. Looking back, if Alan Thicke was to be remembered by only one thing, what would you want that to be? Would it be a dad or a TV dad?
Yeah, I think that's easy and obvious for me, and probably sounds a little corny, but my 3 children have been the salt of my existence, and remain so every day. And so how they remember me and feel about me will be the most important part of my legacy.
All right, Alan Thicke, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate you making the time for me today.
Well, thank you. I'll hope to get invited back to Saskatoon one of these days.
All right, Alan, thanks for the time.
Pleasure. Thank you.